sometimes a 40-minute lecture to listen to that the instructor will have pre-recorded or be uploaded ready for you there within the course on D2L. So Sarah, again, will explain how to get to these lectures, to listen to them, to download them. They're usually audio lectures. Sometimes certain faculty members use something called VoiceThread, which you can think of as like an online version of PowerPoint. So you get audio and you get images, slides that you can move through. But mostly it will be audio MP3 files that you can download. So let's see. So that's Thursday is the beginning of the online part of the course, and then on Thursday, May the 11th, that is the first day of the residential. The residential, I hope you will know by now, is 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Thursday and Friday will be given over to one of your courses, and then the Saturday and Sunday to the other of your courses. And we always have an orientation session for new students on the Thursday morning. 8:30 is when classes normally start. So on the first Thursday, from 8:30 until I think 10:15, we have an orientation. You will hear from me, you will hear from the other faculty, you will get a chance to say hi to everyone, and we have a little welcome ritual that the older, the second, third year students will host and to invite you into the group. So that's Thursday morning. For any of you who arrive in Wednesday night, because it's often easier to get in the night before, we have a pizza party in one of the classrooms. I'll be there, maybe one of the other faculty members will be there too. So if you want to come along and get a couple of slices of pizza and have a chat, it's a good way to get to know everyone kind of more informally before the orientation session and before classes begin. So that will be on Wednesday the 10th. I think it's usually about 6 p.m. till 8, something like that. So look out for an announcement from Sue on that. And then I think you will have everything you need. There are various things happening on the Thursday and Friday, a couple of different orientation pieces. Financial aid and the registrar will both do short presentations on the Thursday and Friday during lunchtime. And we have quite a long lunch break on those days. So 30 minutes out of those lunch hours will be given over to orientations. So I think that's probably everything you need to know. We're mindful that we don't want to overload you with information on the session, so just try to keep a clear mind and retain the essentials so that you can get into D2L on Thursday and do what you need to do. So at this point I'll hand over to Sarah, and she will, Sarah's our resident expert in D2L who will support you for any problems or questions you have regarding how to use the online technology. So I'll hand over to Sarah, and I think if you could just mute your webcam, your audio at this point, that will eliminate any background noise, and I'm going to do the same. I might jump in from time to time just to say something, but otherwise it will be Sarah you hear from now. And if you want to ask a question, you can either do that at the end, or there's a little chat function in the sidebar, the side menu bar. You can see there it will say chat. Alicia has already used it, and if you want to enter a question there, either Sarah or Sue Gary's here too, the program administrator, or I will see the message and relay the question to Sarah or to me, depending on whether it's technical or academic. Okay, so I will stop talking now and hand over to Sarah.
Before you start, Sarah, this is Sue. Somehow the chat isn't working. I can't get it to open. I don't know if anybody else is having that problem, but I just thought I'd mention it. Is that something that you would have turned off or something?
There's a little arrow. There's a gray bar below your video webcam, and then there's a little arrow, and you hit that, it'll go to the side, and then you hit it, and it'll go down.
Yeah, mine is working.
Really? Okay. Well, for some reason mine isn't, so whatever.
Well, if anyone's chat is not working, just just save your question at the end. We'll get to it then. But if your chat is working and you want to use that function, then please feel free. I think we had someone else join us. Kevin, hello.
It's Babette.
Hi, Kevin.
It's Babette. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi. Hello. Welcome.
Hi. It's my husband's computer. I couldn't get mine to work.
Oh, okay. Mystery solved. Hi. Welcome.
Thanks.
So I've just done a little intro, which you will have on the recording, and then Sarah DeArmond, who's our D2L expert, is now going to talk us through how to log in, how to access lectures, and so forth. So I was poised to hand over to Sarah. Sarah, it's all yours.
Okay, perfect. So I'm Sarah. You can reach me. I do the D2L help here. So any questions that go through the IT support for Pacifica, they will be vetted, and if they are D2L inquiries, most likely they'll be going to me. So first, I'm going to share my screen here, and this is the pacifica.edu website. This is going to be how to log in to D2L and how to find it. So up in the top right corner is my.pacifica. Clicking on that link is going to open up a new page with multiple areas for the Pacifica login. For D2L, we're going to focus on e-learning D2L. And that's going to take you to the login page. So for this, I'm going to be using a demo. Now this will be the same process, just with a different username and password. This is a good web page to bookmark. If you're going to be logging in, I have this bookmarked at work, obviously. And this will be demo.student. Let's see if I can remember my password. All right. So this is going to be the D2L homepage that you'll be confronted with after logging in. It's going to look almost identical to this, only it will have your name up here and it will have your courses. So this is just for demonstration purposes. So this has the My Courses section. Yours will be similar. It will have the Support Center. The D2L Student Tutorial and Support Center is going to go over most of what we're talking about in this training session. So don't worry if you can't remember everything. You will be in the Student Tutorial and Support Center. I can address a lot of login questions as well. Just accessing this for a moment. These are D2L basics, logging in, changing password, navigating D2L in general. We're going to go over pretty much all of these right now, but this is a good resource to have. And going back to the home page, up at the top here, My Home, it's going to take you back to where you can access your different courses. Similarly to the Student Tutorial Center, there are also the Student Resource Center. Now, this is going to be helpful since this is kind of a one-stop shop where you can access the different syllabi and some different readings. The courses themselves, they are going to be underneath the semester and the year. This one, demonstration purposes, fall 2015, but yours will be spring 2017. And accessing the courses, you just click on the link, and it's going to take you to the course homepage. When you first enter into the courses, you have the news items, which is a really great way for the instructors to get out information to all the different students at the same time. And at the right-hand side here, we have the instructor contact information. And this is also going to be in the syllabus as well, but it makes it a little bit easier getting in contact if you have a quick question. the main way you're going to be navigating the D2L courses will be with this navigation bar up at the top. The course home is the page that we are at right now, and where you'll be spending a lot of your time will be the learning modules. So learning modules basically have all of the course information, the assignments, the syllabus, the readings, and any of the instructions as well. There's a few different ways to navigate. On the left-hand side here, have all of the different modules, and as time goes on, those modules are going to open up and you'll be able to access them. The table of contents is going to include all of the modules, so you can kind of get that overhead view. Technology how-to has a lot of just good tips and how to download the MP3 lecture files. This one also has how to use VoiceThread, which Kieran mentioned earlier. There are a few instructors who like to use VoiceThread. It's basically just putting in a presentation visually as well as the audio. So, scrolling down here a little bit, there's the Getting Started module, syllabus and course schedule. Pretty basic. All of your courses are going to have the schedule and the syllabus in the Getting Started module. And like Kieran had mentioned, there's the Getting Started discussion board question, usually with just a quick question, lets the instructor know that you were able to access the course. And clicking the link will take you to that discussion board itself. And here it has the question itself, and then you have the option to either look through the threads that your fellow students have already started or to create your own, since a lot of them do have the requirement that you reply to one or two of your fellow students. So here are the threads that have already been created for this. Most of these are just tests, since this was for demoing. So once you're ready to post your own, click the blue button, Start a New Thread. And it's going to open up the option here for you to reply to this Getting Started question. Entering a subject, that's just going to be your general title. Type in hello, and then in the body is where you will post the actual answer to your questions. I didn't really prepare, so this will just be for demonstration. This is my response. Hopefully yours will be a little bit more meaty than that.
If I could make one comment there, Sarah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, as I mentioned, that we were quite strict on the word count of these posts. You can imagine if you've got quite a large group and everyone decides to write 2,000 words, then it becomes pretty overwhelming for all of us to deal with that amount of information. So we're strict on a 300-word limit, 250 to 300 words. And you may find in your first couple of courses that the instructors may take off points if you go over 300. So a good strategy is to compose your discussion post in Word, do a word count in Word. You can also do a spell check there, and then paste it over into D2L. And that's also gives you some security, because if there's any issue with D2L when you click post and suddenly you discover that everything you've written has disappeared, occasionally happens, it's happened to me. If you have it already in Word, you have it saved, then you're not going to lose your precious work. So use Word and try not to go over the 300-word limit. It's there, the restriction is there for a reason, to make everything as smoothly as it can. Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, definitely a good point. Most of the discussions are going to have those instructions there indicating how long your post should be. When you have crafted your response, clicking post is going to add your discussion. This here, the subscribe to this thread, that's always a nice idea. that way, you're going to get little email notifications and notifications in D2L letting you know that someone has responded to your post. It's automatically already checked, and it's usually a good idea just to keep it there. That way you can keep the discussions going if someone does reply to yours. And when you're ready, post, and then there it is. Then your instructor will also be notified that there are new threads there, and they will be able to go through and grade them accordingly, and most likely be replying to everyone's responses too. There are going to be multiple discussions going on in your courses. Generally, each module has a discussion post for you and an assignment in there. Locating all of the discussions is going to be up in this navigation bar. Discussions is going to show all of the different discussion questions for the different modules. All of the courses have the Getting Started discussion board, as well as questions and the Course Room Cafe. These are just general. They don't have to do with any of the modules. They're always open, and they're there for better communication between students and the instructors. Down in the actual modules, there are going to be more detailed assignments here, and also including that word count, and to reply to at least 2 of your fellow students' responses as well. The situation is going to be the same. You locate which discussion you'd like to add to, clicking on the title, and it shows that everyone else's responses if you scroll down, and there's the Start a New Thread option for when you are ready to post your own. Discussions are going to be a big part of each of the modules, and they are usually graded items also. This is going to be on each syllabus that you receive, as well as in these modules themselves. Going back to the assignments themselves, using the navigation bar at the top, learning modules. There's also this little kind of handy counter letting you know how many links you have already clicked on. And scrolling down to the actual modules themselves, so using the navigation on the left, it's going to be a best way to find out the instructions for each assignment as well as the readings for that module. So for example, we have Module 1 here. In the body of it, it's giving you the instructions for this module, including each of the readings. And these are generally the same. You have the presentation or lecture for that week. You have your readings, and you have the discussion. Scrolling down, we'll see the presentations, lectures. So this is similar to what Kieran was saying earlier. Some of the instructors do still use VoiceThread. It's going to be the same process. Clicking on the M1 presentation here. For this one, it does take you to a presentation, and then it also includes the link for the VoiceThread. Clicking on that opens up a new window where you have the instructor's VoiceThread presentation already. And if you just click on the link for the MP3s, those will start playing for you as well. It just depends on what the instructor has chosen for their format. And going back, you can use the navigation up at the top. These are all links. They can take you directly back to where you were. You can also use the navigation links up in this bar as well. So I'm going to go back just to Module 1. And scrolling down, it also has the e-readings. Most of these are going to be links or PDF files, and accessing them is going to be pretty much the same as accessing others. just click on the link. For this, it's going to be a PDF, and clicking on the link will allow it to open up right there in the browser. This is something that I like to do going to school, is I like having physical copies because I'm always writing on them. With this, you have the option of downloading the file, and you can print it out from there. So you can save it to your own computer and you can print it out. The download button right here is going to save it to your computer. Printing it out, then you can just print it out and have a physical copy. And those are going to be housed in each of the corresponding modules, so it can always be accessed later as well.
Just to jump in there, Sarah, you can also download the audio lectures. So if you want to, if you're driving in your car, you're driving to work, and you want to listen to the lecture there, it's a good idea to download it, and then you don't have to be at your computer to hear the lecture. So I think a lot of people tend to do that. I think it works in the same way. Maybe Sarah will give an example now of how you get to a lecture, but it works in the same way as accessing the voice thread or the PDF. So, okay, thanks.
It's going to be very similar for these. So showing you how to download with the PDF also. When there's this little drop-down menu, this little triangle next to a file, clicking on that will give you the different options. So the same way there's the download option for this PDF reading, there will be a download option for any of the MP3 lectures as well. That way you can save it to your computer and you don't need to be online to look at it. Whenever you see these little triangles next to files and links, you're going to be able to usually download them or have a few different options with them. Another big part of turning in your assignments will be using Dropbox. So up here at the top navigation, the Dropbox is where you will submit a lot of your papers. In particular, the final projects get submitted through Dropbox. These are going to accept PDFs or Microsoft Word documents. And accessing these, usually it'll be just the final paper. So going up at the top, Dropbox will list the different assignments and Dropboxes that you have for the course. Clicking the name of it will allow you to submit your files. So submitting, you have the option of adding a file, which will be on your computer, or if you have the file on a flash drive, it opens up where you can upload from. You can also drag and drop into this box. Upload, you're going to see that different options that you have going through where you saved your file. So I just have a sample, and that is a .docx. That's one of the Word file formats. Clicking on blue add is going to submit it, and there is right there. You can also add multiple files. You most likely won't need to, but it is an option. There's also the option for comments, which again is generally optional. Your name is going to be on there along with the title when you submit it, but if maybe it's for an incomplete, you need to just give a little more information when you're submitting it. There is a comment box. When you're all ready, the blue submit button, and it will let you know that it was successful. So here it has the one indication, file submission successful, and it also sends an email confirming that you have uploaded something to your Dropbox. You can upload more files, see the files that you have already uploaded, or when you're just finished, you have finished the paper, you've submitted it, you're done. And it's done, and that 5 has gone up to a 6. that alerts your instructor as well, and then they'll be able to go in, put comments on there, and you will be getting another alert once your instructor has made any comments and has graded your final paper.
Yeah, thanks. Just to add a couple of things there, Sarah. This won't be relevant most likely until towards the end of the course. Module 9, you're asked to submit a reflection paper, pretty short, like two pages. That will be through Dropbox. And then Module 10 is for the term paper, right at the end of the course. So you may not remember everything that Sarah has just explained very clearly to us, but you will have the recording, so you can go back and think, how do I post my papers? You'll have it there on the recording. You can go and refresh your memory that way. So you probably won't need Dropbox until then, until Module 9, Module 10, unless there's a midterm. Some instructors will set short assignments in the middle of the course, but generally speaking, you'll just have to do your reflection paper, Module 9, and your term paper in Module 10. Okay? Thanks, Sarah.
And there are generally clear indications on what needs to be submitted to the Dropbox and when. That'll definitely be in the modules and in each of the course syllabi. After submitting the final papers, it is basically just a waiting game until you get your grades back. There is a timetable for the instructors themselves in getting the grades back in a timely manner. So you do get alerted once those are released to you. There's also a chat function, which isn't 100% since other people do need to be in the chat at the same time as you. But it is a good way just for students to get together and talk to one another. But good little communication tool to have some instant messaging between yourself and some fellow students. As you can see here, there are 0 participants in there. So while I can access it, there's no one else to talk to. But good way to kind of collaborate with your fellow students. Maybe if you come up with a specific time that you would like to get together and chat, that's always an option for you. And I just noticed up here at the message indicator, and this is just letting me know that I submitted to the Dropbox. So you do get that little alert letting you know that you've submitted your paper. And those are pretty much the basics of what you're going to be experiencing in your D2L courses. Like Karen mentioned, like with the Dropbox, since it isn't until much later in the course you may forget. A lot of this with D2L isn't particularly difficult. It's just a matter of knowing where to click, which can be a little time consuming. So it's
someone once told me you can't break D2L. I think that's true. So don't be afraid to experiment if you can't remember what you're doing. I mean, I haven't broken it yet, but I may, I suppose. But it is pretty intuitive. So just, there are a few things that you're going to use quite often. Learning modules, discussions, you're going to be using all the time. So as long as you remember those, the other stuff, maybe is not so critical just yet. I don't know if students use the chat function. Maybe they do. I haven't seen it used, but that will be less important. So if you can just think, okay, I need to remember how to log in, how to get to my reading list, my syllabus, how to access e-readings, and then how to get to discussions, the audio lectures and post discussions. Those kind of things you're going to need every week, and that will become very, well, second nature to you after 2-3 weeks. So that's the stuff that you really need to kind of hold in mind from today's session. And then, were you going to do class list as well, Sarah?
Yeah, class list will let you see who else is in here. Again, this is a demonstration, so that it's a pretty small, intimate gathering. But I think that there were quite a few enrollees in the DJA program. This will likely be a little bit longer. But good way just to see who's part of the class, who your fellow students are, and who you can get in contact with. There's the role here, instructor. That's probably a good person to ask if you have questions about your assignment.
Not always, but mostly. Yeah, and the key thing there is if you would please upload a photo of yourself, because obviously it begins online, and it kind of helps the instructor, it helps you and your classmates to have a visual to go with the online discussions. And then, of course, it's always interesting when you arrive at residential to see if you can match the photo to the real person. Easier said than done, but really it helps to humanize, personalize the online environment if you can just see a photo. So pretty simple to upload the photo. So please do that. Thank you.
This is Sue. That's my little picture there. You can email any of the people in the class list within D2L. So you can't email people outside of D2L, but you can email each other within D2L, and that's what this class list can be used for as well. If you can see in the left corner, it says email, and you can either click on that box and you'll send an email to everybody, or you click on a box next to somebody's picture and you'll just be sending an email to that one person, and they can respond to you within D2L. So I occasionally use it to send you emails, but rarely, because it can only be used within D2L.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the D2L emailing is going to be completely internal to D2L. So emailing through this system, they'll be able to get those emails once they log into D2L itself.
You'll also be getting sometime after, or maybe you've already gotten it, I get the timing confused, passwords and IDs for D2L and for something called My.Pacifica self-service. And within My.Pacifica self-service, you'll get a Gmail account. And that's the account that I always send you emails to. It's a Gmail account. You can email whomever you want. The other people in Pacifica, the registrar's office, the library, whomever it is, will email to your My.Pacifica Gmail account. They cannot email to you within D2L, and we don't maintain your private email addresses either, so that's something to remember too. And you'll also be learning about the self-service in terms of, they'll send you a tutorial. You'll be able to see your transcript and register for classes starting the next quarter, like that, things like that.
Yeah, so very important, and I think if you could get into the habit of checking your My.Pacifica account, once or twice a week, that will be good practice. It's possible to forward your emails from that account to your own personal email, but still, it's to prevent any mishaps, it's a good idea to go in and go into that account directly and just check, once or twice a week. So that email account is probably going to be more useful to you than the D2L one, given that that's the email account that, as Sue was just saying, other departments will contact you through. And then if you want to enter your own personal email address, Sarah, could you click on the demo instructor and kind of go into the detail behind that? Either Sue or Albert Einstein.
The profile, to get into the profile.
It's a contrasting choice.
Gee, which one should I choose?
Okay, and then there you have, in your profile, if you want to, if you don't go by your first name but you go by a nickname, then that will be the place to enter that there. Share as much detail as you want. You don't have to complete this, but if you have a website or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, you can enter your information there and just click on save, and then other people will be able to see that. So sometimes I go into these profiles to see if people have posted their personal email account there. Sometimes that can be better for correspondence than the My.Pacifica one, but generally speaking, you'll get emails to your Pacifica email account. But this is something you can use to add detail about yourself, depending on what you want to share.
Do you
Anything
have
else on that, Stu?
The what?
Anything else we need to say on that?
Not on that, I don't think so. But Sarah, do you have on this demo the DJA Resource Center?
Yes, that is there. But resource centers are very helpful, and they are located in the My Courses section. So down here you have the Research Resource Center, Student Resource Center.
Okay, so this one's a little different because it says CLE. That's a different program, and they don't actually have theirs set up the way we do. But you'll find the DJA Resource Center when you log on to your D2L, and in there is where we have all the syllabi, and you'll find your residential schedule in there. We have forms in there, all kinds of information in our resource center that's going to be really helpful to you. So when you do get your ID and password and have a chance to look at our DJA Resource Center, that would be a good thing to do.
This one's a little older since it was for demonstration purposes, but when you get logged in, you will be automatically part of the resource centers. And like Stu said, it's going to have all the different syllabi available to you. So it is a very good resource to use.
Yeah, I mean, if, for example, you feel that you need to file an incomplete, that you can't get your term paper done by the end of the course, then that's where you go to get the incomplete form. So it's very important the forms that are there in that resource center. So, I mean, incompletes, I think you're allowed to file for 3 in any given academic year, or maybe calendar year.
Academic year.
Academic year. Okay, so you go into the resource center, and under forms there'll be a whole list of forms there, and you can find the incomplete form among those. So just go in there and play around and see what you can see. There are letters from the chair. I think they're in there too. Yeah. The residential schedules are very important to see what's coming up and when. And as Sarah and Sue said, the syllabi are in there too. So very helpful.
The other thing is that the Resource Center also has a home page where I and sometimes Kieran post news items. And when we've posted a news item, you'll get that little red dot up at the top of the navigation bar where Sarah has shown you received the email saying that you had submitted your final paper. Well, there's another box next to that that alerts you to news items as well. And what I put on there is I'm letting you know that your syllabi are available, or I'm letting you know that your residential schedules are available. It's difficult in D2L to capture all of the students, and so it's easier to either send you an email with the My.Pacifica or to post the news items.
Yeah, and you will also see news items just to you and your cohort inside particular courses. So Intro to Depth Psychology, for example, the course you'll be starting on Thursday, if Lionel Corbett wanted to send a message to all of you, he may post a news announcement in the course. So when you get into the course, the first thing you will see is the news items.
Of course, they're going to be surprised when Keston Blandon shows up.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm getting my instructions mixed up. Keston Blandon will post, there'll be a welcome message, hi, welcome to the course, and then, as you're going through the course, if Keston wants to communicate anything with you, that would be the place that she would do it. So you'll get emails, there are news items, announcements, there are news items in the resource center. So there are these various ways that information will be imparted to you, and it will become in time very straightforward for you. It's not difficult to get to grips with this. Pretty easy to navigate. So just give yourself time to play around and check out these different features.
Does anybody have any questions? If you want to turn on your microphones. Oh, wow.
All right.
Kieran is muted.
Or you can use the chat box. I'm back. if you want to ask questions through the chat box, that
Yeah, you
would
can
be
use chat box
fine
too.
too.
Actually, I have a question. This is Narelle.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi. It's not something that you covered, and I may be jumping ahead a little bit, but because I've been in the counseling psychology program for the past 7 months, and I'm switching over to this program, and I just wanted to know, do you guys use APA in papers?
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
And there's APA information in the Learning Resource Center.
Yeah. No, I know it well at this point, but I just wanted to know how. I was actually kind of hoping that it was going to go away, but
no. We actually have linked to OWL in there.
No, but
Great
you don't need to do APA formatting on your discussion posts online.
Right.
You just for your term paper.
Yeah. Right.
So
Okay.
that's, something you don't have to think about immediately. You can leave it until later in the course when you're writing your term paper. The discussion posts are the equivalent to being in the classroom in a normal, in-person situation where you might, put your hand up and ask a question and make a comment. So the online environment is rather like that, except it's more structured, and you have to respond, you have to do your 300-word post, but it's not something that's graded for APA formatting or anything like that. I mean, you need to write in good English and with good grammar to communicate clearly, but we won't evaluate you for APA on the discussion posts. So,
yeah, no, that's the same as the other program. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi. In the subject lines to the discussion posts, from your previous experience doing this, is there a preferred nomenclature? Like, how, just a quick kind of like, rather than hello or this is my response, but something that you kind of prefer?
I mean, maybe like a headline that describes the nature of your post. So, I don't know, if it's individuation, you might write, my journey towards wholeness or something like that. It could be, some descriptive headline. Or sometimes you might have a choice of 2, 3, 4 different discussion assignments, and you're asked to pick one. So you might just put question 1 and then, a little description, so it's clear to the instructor which of the assignments you're choosing. So again, I think it should be fairly self-evident, but yeah, I mean, if you can just put a banner, a description that tells people, what the essence of your post is, and that would be ideal. Right.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
So, sorry. No, Sandy, John, you were going to say something.
Just wanted to confirm, so we'll get our login stuff on Wednesday or Thursday morning?
You should. If you don't, please let me know.
Yes, that you should have it. I mean, you should be ready to post on Thursday, so you can log in, get into your 2 courses, get into the Learning Resource Center on Thursday. But yeah, as Sue said, any problems, just send us an email, and we'll get onto that straight away. And even though you have to post, you're asked to post on Thursday. If you can't get online and you post on Friday or Saturday, that's fine. It's really the getting started module is just to show that you're present online. You know how to post, how to do a discussion. So really, it's just to kind of ease you into the course. But if you can post on Thursday, that's what we ask for, just to kind of see that everyone is there. Okay.
And that information, this is a supplement to Sandy's question, that information, the student ID, the password for My Pacifica self-service, is that coming through from the IT department?
Yes.
Or, okay.
And it should come to your private email address. That and the email I'm going to send you on Wednesday are probably the last emails that you'll get from most of us to your private email address. After that, it'll be my.pacifica Gmail account, except for Kieran, who will try to find your private email address.
I mean, only if people share we'll use that. Generally, I use both. I will use My Pacifica and your private if I'm communicating something about the course or whatever it might be. So there's no danger of you missing an email. That's the aim.
Great.
Okay. Any more questions, or do you all feel lucidly clear as to how to log in and access your discussions and lectures and so forth?
I have a question for Sue that's, I think, specific to me, but will I just get access to my login and everything that I had before?
You should, this is Linda, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think you should, you might try using your old, well, you were in humanities before, so they might give you something different. I'm not sure, actually. Your My.Pacifica should all be the same, but the D2L, the D2L password might be different.
Okay, but I can change that anyway. So, okay, so that might be different. All right, I'll just look for the letter.
Yeah, it comes through email.
Play it by ear, Linda. See how it goes. Try with your existing details, but if it sends you something new through, then obviously that will be the one to go with.
Okay. Yeah, you guys will have another. So Linda graduated from our Engaged Humanities program, which is our master's program, and now she's here in DJA. And we have another student, Bruce, who had to leave the program after his master's, and he's now coming back to finish for his PhD.
Yeah, he'll be joining the third-year cohort. Yeah. You'll probably only see him during the residential.
And he'll probably come to the orientation.
You'll be there at the orientation, I hope, yeah. So I'm trying to think anything else that you would need to know.
Oh, the library. You'll also, at some point, get access to our library online, and they'll give you another ID and password for that. So I think that comes directly from the library.
Yeah.
I have a question in relation to that for the e-readings. In the syllabi, there's a series of e-readings. And earlier, Sarah, you were pointing out that the e-readings are posted in the course here, learning modules. Is this correct? So we will not have to access those to the library, but we access them here.
Right. There
are
some e-readings that will be posted to the modules themselves. There are also going to be some books and some EBSCO readings.
Right.
But depending on what they are, if they are labeled as an e-reading in the course, they're going to be available in that module in D2L.
Yeah, you'll notice there are some classes where faculty are referring you to our graduate research library, which you can access online, and they'll give you the name of the periodical, let's say, and all the information you need, and then you research through the EBSCO to find it. Also, all of Jung's collected works are in the library online as ebooks if you want something extra to read.
Light reading.
Yeah,
that can be very helpful. I mean, if you're traveling, for example, and you can't lug 18 volumes of the collected works in your suitcase, then it can be pretty handy to log in and access these things remotely. And of course, a lot of people use Kindle versions as well these days.
Right.
That's another question. That's another question I had because sometimes I have to travel, and so I'm hoping. As I looked at the schedule on that, it looks like, not missing any of the courses. But is there anything that will be for a week that will not be available, say, 4 days later if for some reason, sometimes I go to places where I can't have, access, and I don't think that I will for this quarter, but just...
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to miss up to 3 modules, online modules per quarter. We don't recommend that, obviously, because
right.
it would be detract, I think, from what you would learn. But in terms of the formal requirements of the course, if you have to miss one module is not really going to impact your grade.
Okay, thank you.
The way that the points are allocated per module, I think it's usually 12 points you would get for each discussion, each online module, but then a lot more, 100 points for your term paper. So, you know, if you do fairly well on your term paper, if you miss one module, that's not really going to impact your overall score.
Oh yeah, that's right. So the responses have to be posted by, I got it, Monday. Got it, yeah.
Yeah, your discussion post by the end of Monday,
yeah.
and your responses to 2 other students by the end of Wednesday.
Yeah.
And generally, instructors will allocate a certain number of points for your original post, and a certain number of points for your responses to the other students. So even if you miss your original post by Monday, you can't post for whatever reason by Monday at midnight. Get online on Tuesday, Wednesday, and respond to your classmates, and you'll pick up some points that way.
The other thing is that you'll notice that the modules open up 1 week before they're scheduled to start, so that if you do think you're going to be out of town, you'll at least know a week ahead of time what the discussion questions are, and even though you don't need to do anything with it at that point, and we suggest that unless you have to, not to post early, but at least you have the information a week ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're going away and you know you can't get online for the next week, then you can post early. We just obviously like to keep everyone in sync, so everyone's posting pretty much at the same time, and it becomes more of a shared experience. But that would be one option, as Sue said, if you knew you were traveling and you didn't have internet for a period of a few days, and you could post in advance. Have you all been able to get your books okay?
Yeah. Not yet. Not yet.
Yes.
Yep.
I had a question about that, actually.
Okay.
And that's so you can order them via Pacifica's online bookstore, and they make it very easy to order the recommended reading. But I've struggled to find the suggested reading there. And has anyone else found that?
We don't put that up there. We used to put it up there, and it got to the point where some instructors were suggesting so many books, and it was getting really confusing, and we had some students who felt compelled to read all the suggested reading as well, and were having nightmares about it. So we are no longer posting the suggested reading on the online bookstore.
Okay, so what? Just in case it's helpful to anyone else, I just went on Amazon and just Amazon Primed it.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a question about software management and just for downloading PDFs and tracking citations and things like that, if people have recommendations about what the easiest way to manage all of this might be.
Sorry, the easiest way to manage what?
Just like keeping track of everything, like whether is it Adobe or for keeping track of all of your PDF files and the notes that you make on your readings and things like that. Is there certain software programs that are better for that than others that people have found? Or
I mean, I think generally speaking, Word. I would use Word. I mean, if you submit your term paper in Word, that allows your instructor to use track changes and to put edits in your term paper, to put comments directly in the paper. If you submit a PDF for your term paper, I mean, the instructor can still put little comment boxes, but they wouldn't be able to edit in line, as it were. So I think Word is the best thing if you have that software.
I guess the question is more like for all of the readings that we're doing. So when we're downloading the e-book or the e-readings, or if we're downloading, I don't know if they come in PDF versions, and we want to use electronic ways to track notes or anything like that, if there's a good way to do that, or just everybody.
I don't know if there's any software that will do that for you. I mean, I would just tend to, Pacifica first year and a new folder, Introduction to Web Psychology, and just put all the downloads in that folder on Explorer on your hard drive, and then create a new folder for each course, and then you can save all your discussion posts, or all the reading materials and your term papers, on your hard drive in that folder. I think that would be the best way. And you can get back into your old courses. So if if you're in the second year and you think, well, what did I write in the first year in Introduction to Lab Psychology, you can go back in and you can see your old discussion posts so that they will remain there online on D2L for you to access in the future.
And having Adobe Reader is going to allow you to view any of the e-readings.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, and you can download Adobe Reader for free, I believe, Sarah.
Yep. So
if you don't have it and you try to open it, I think it will probably take you or prompt you to go to the Adobe site and download. It's fairly standard. So I think you may well need that. And if it's on an iPad or an Apple, what happens there, Sarah, if you double click on a PDF and you don't have Adobe on the iPad?
You should still be able to view it. You just wouldn't have the options for saving it.
Okay. And do I remember correctly, there's a kind of iPad device version of D2L that you can change to a different mode?
I've seen that for instructors. I'm not certain on the student end.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to play with it myself. I unfortunately don't have an iPad, but I have seen little indicators for if you'd like to do this on your iPad as an instructor, click here. So they're catching up to the tablet.
Yeah, I haven't used that, but I mean, I think this version of D2L is perfectly functional on PCs and iPads, so you shouldn't need to change mode. Any other questions? Okay, great. Well, if you think of anything after the session, you have Sue's email. Feel free to email me. You can just Google my name if you don't have my Pacifica email and write to me at my Gmail account. That will be fine. And then Sarah is here to help you with D2L. Do let us know if you don't get your login information and password tomorrow, and we'll jump on that quickly so that you have it in time for, by Wednesday. If you don't have it by Wednesday, let us know, and we'll make sure you have it in place for Thursday. And anything you think of afterwards, as I said, feel free to get in touch. But otherwise, welcome again, and good luck with your first few online weeks. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the residential. May the 11th is the first day, so I'll see you either at a pizza party on May the 10th, or if not, then in the morning of the orientation. So I'm looking forward to that. So take care, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
And Sarah will be sending you the recording of this session as well.
We'll be getting a link to the recording, and that will be sent out later today or tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.